You've seen this flower everywhere, right? In a garden, maybe in a vase on a table. But what if I told you that this familiar face, the chrysanthemum, holds some pretty wild secrets? It connects empires, ancient medicine, and even your own backyard in ways you would never, ever expect.
Yeah, look at that. It's gorgeous, and it feels kind of simple, doesn't it? It comes in all these incredible shapes and colors, and for a lot of us, it's just that classic sign that fall is here. But what you're seeing here, that's really just the cover of a much, much deeper story.
You guessed it. The answer is the chrysanthemum. I know, it sounds a little crazy, right? How could one single plant be the thread that ties all of these things together? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack in this explainer.
All right, here's our game plan. We're going to start with the flower's secret identity. Then, we'll follow its incredible journey around the world. After that, we'll get into its really surprising jobs. I'm talking tea to insecticide, and we'll wrap up by decoding its totally different meanings across the globe.
Okay, so let's get right into it. What exactly is a chrysanthemum, or a mum, as most of us call it? Well, to really get why there are so many different kinds today, we've got to go all the way back to the beginning. And it's a very humble and very golden beginning.
The name itself is actually a huge clue. If you break it down, chrysanthemum literally means gold flower. And that name points us right back to its wild ancestors, which, were these small, simple, daisy-like flowers that were brilliant gold.
And check this out. This slide really tells the story. On the left, you've got that original wild form. And on the right, that's just a tiny snapshot of the crazy variety people had bred by the early 1900s. It's an amazing visual of what centuries of gardening and cultivation can do. And the place where that whole story of cultivation really started, the heart of it all, that's China. I mean, sure, it's native to a bigger area, but China is, without a doubt, the ground zero for the chrysanthemum's origin story.
All right, so from its home in China, the chrysanthemum basically went on this epic world tour, and people everywhere just fell in love with it. So let's follow that journey.
So get this, the story starts way, way back. We're talking the 15th century BCE in China. From there, it heads over to Japan, where it just explodes in popularity. And then, much later, at the tail end of the 18th century, it finally makes its way to America.
And the sheer scale of this is just wow. Think about it. Over 500 different types were already recorded in China almost 400 years ago. Today, that number has skyrocketed to over 20,000. That is just an insane partnership between people and a plant.
And this picture really drives home just how important it became in Japan. I mean, it wasn't just some flower in a garden. It turned into a national obsession, a true art form. The Japanese got so good at creating new varieties that they actually started shipping them back to China, which is pretty cool.
Okay, so we've established it's beautiful, it's got this rich history, but this is where the story gets really interesting. Because this flower has some very practical and frankly pretty surprising side hustles.
So yeah, it's way more than just a pretty face. Chrysanthemums are used in cooking, they're used to fight off bugs, and they can even help clean the air in your house. Let's dig into that.
First up, let's talk food. In China and other parts of East Asia, people boil the flowers to make this really popular calming tea. The leaves, you can cook those up as greens. And in Japan, they even use the petals as a beautiful garnish for sashimi.
But here's the real kicker. Inside these flower heads is a powerful secret weapon. They contain something called pyrethrins. These are all natural insecticides that mess with an insect's nervous system. And the best part? They're way less toxic to us and other animals than synthetic chemicals. And they break down naturally.
And as if that wasn't enough, get this. A famous NASA study, that NASA, found that these plants are little powerhouses when it comes to filtering out common pollutants from indoor air. So you might want to pick one up on your way home.
And of course, we have to talk about its ornamental power, because people have taken it to a whole other level. This right here, this isn't just your average potted plant. This is a chrysanthemum bonsai. It's a living sculpture, an art form that's been perfected over centuries in Japan. Okay, for our last section, let's dive into what this flower actually means to people. And depending on where you are in the world, the answer is, well, it's a night and day difference. I'm not kidding.
I mean, just look at this. Here in the US, we see it and think cheerfulness, positivity, right? But in a lot of Europe, it's the complete opposite. It's the flower of grief and funerals. Then you go to China, it's all about nobility and long life. And in Japan, it's the symbol of the emperor himself.
And we're not talking about some casual symbol here. This stylized 16-petal chrysanthemum, that is the official crest of the Emperor of Japan. The monarchy itself is literally called the chrysanthemum throne. It does not get more powerful than that.
Meanwhile, in China, it has this place of super high honor. It's one of the four gentlemen in art, right up there with the plum blossom, the orchid, and bamboo. In that context, it represents nobility, the ability to endure, and a long, healthy life.
And then we flip the coin completely. In Korea, and in countries like Italy, France, and Poland, white chrysanthemums are the flower of grief. They're what you bring to honor the dead and to place on graves. A totally different world of meaning.
This contrast is just wild to me. So in Australia, because their nickname is mums and they bloom in May, they're the perfect Mother's Day gift. But in Italy, you bring that same flower to a cemetery for the Day of the Dead, a gift celebrating life versus a tribute to someone who has passed on. It's the exact same flower.
So what is it? A symbol of an emperor? A key ingredient in a cup of tea? Is it a cheerful gift or a solemn tribute? Well, the crazy thing is, the chrysanthemum is all of those things at once. So the next time you see one, maybe you won't just see a flower, maybe you'll see a whole world of history, of science, and of meaning, all packed into those petals.